Hello friends, and welcome back to another virtual story time with Miss Liz. Today, we're reading a book about Palestine, specifically about a young girl in Gaza who makes art. Now, this book was written about a time period in 2014 when there was violence happening in Gaza, similar to the violence happening today. Unfortunately, the way of life depicted in this book is no longer the reality in Gaza, and it can be tough to talk to kids about what is truly going on right now in Palestine and in Gaza. However, it's never too early to start talking with your young ones about tough topics, including about violence and displacement and harm that's happening in our world. So, I hope that this read aloud will help you talk about this with the young kids in your life. You can ask them what they know about what's happening right now in Palestine, if they have any questions, and most importantly, letting them know that you are there to support them and talk with them and try to answer any questions they may have. Helping kids feel supported is so important as we try to educate them about the world around us. So, may this book be helpful for you as you talk with your kids about Palestine. We're going to read Sitti's Bird, a Gaza Story. This is written and illustrated by Malak Mattar. Sitti's Bird, a Gaza Story by Malak Mattar. Malak is a young girl with a big imagination. She lives with her mama and baba in Gaza, in Palestine. Although the city is under siege, Malak goes to school, visits her friends, and has fun days out with her family. Gaza has a beautiful sea with colorful fish. Malak watches them from the boat every time her family goes fishing. To Malak, the swirling fish look like a painting come to life. On Fridays, Malak and her family go to her grandmother's house. She loves visiting Sitti and eating makluba, a delicious Palestinian dish. Sitti's makluba is the best. Yum. Malak loves to help feed Sitti's bird. Sitti, are we in a cage too? Asks Malak as the sharp little beak pecks a seed from her hand. Sitti smiles sadly and says, Habibti, you can fly in your dreams. Sitti gives Malak a bag of sweets to take home. As they walk back to their house, Malak nibbles on a piece of candy and thinks about what Sitti said. The next morning, Malak's teacher, Miss Amal, reads a story to the class. Malak plays with her friends in the schoolyard and she shares her sweets with them. Yum. Suddenly, there's a loud and frightening noise and the whole building shakes. An explosion. Miss Amal tells all the students to go home quickly. How scary must it be to be a child experiencing this? Malak runs through the familiar streets of her neighborhood. When she reaches home, Mama and Baba hug her tightly. Don't worry, Habibti, they tell her. Everything will be okay. But how can it be okay when the whole city is shaking around them? For 50 days, Malak and her parents cannot leave their house. The explosions happen almost every day. Malak's whole body feels knotted with worry. One day, she opens her school backpack and she discovers some paint and brushes that she'd forgotten about. She finds herself painting what is in her mind, her family and friends, a bird flying. She paints all day and it makes her feel better. While Malak is painting, a bird comes and sits on her windowsill. It's Sitti's bird. Malak is so happy to see her. She feels like the cage inside of her has been opened. She calls to Mama and Baba, "Come and see." Malak's mama telephones Sitti. "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Sitti is crying. "My home is destroyed. I lost everything. I even lost my bird." Malak says, "Sitti, your bird is alive. She just came to visit me." Malak holds tightly to Mama and Baba's hands as they walk between the ruined buildings on their way to Sitti's house. The city is strangely quiet now. Malak wonders if even the fish in the sea are hiding. Finally, it's safe to go back to school. Malak is relieved to see that her friends and Miss Amal are safe. She shows them the paintings she made. "These are beautiful, Malak," says Miss Amal. "Let's have an exhibit at our school so everyone can see them." Malak dreams of being an artist someday, but showing everyone her paintings is different than just showing her friends. She feels excited, but also nervous. On the day of the exhibit, Malak wears her favorite dress and flower crown. The bold, bright colors make her feel confident again. Malak and Miss Amal cut the red ribbon in front of the exhibit. All the students, families, and teachers go inside to see the artwork. Malak has painted her family and people wearing Palestinian thobes. She has painted Sitti's bird flying free above her cage and the sea filled with colorful fish. All around the room, people are smiling. Maybe Malak has reminded them of the things they love about Gaza too. Later that year, Malak gets a letter inviting her to an international art exhibit with her parents. She can hardly believe it. Her dream is coming true. Baba makes some phone calls, but it is impossible to leave Gaza. "The city is closed and the border crossings are shut," he says. "I'm sorry, Habibti." How disappointing must this be to learn that you can't leave your home and go and travel with your art. You're stuck there. Malak goes to bed with tears in her eyes. Her dream won't come true after all. Oh, poor Malak. That night, Malak dreams Sitti's bird flies her all around the world to share her paintings and tell her story. The next morning, Malak wakes up and watches the birds from her window. She's still sad to miss the exhibit, but she smiles as she remembers her dream. Someday, her art will be like Sitti's bird and help her to fly around the world and always back home again to Gaza. The end. And friends, I think it's so wonderful that the Malak in the story is Malak, the author, and her art has traveled around the world, into this book, into our library, and into our hands for this video. I hope you enjoyed this amazing story about a courageous young artist living in Gaza. And I hope that this book can help start some conversations with you and with others about Palestine, about Gaza, and about our shared humanity. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon for more great books.